Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create this soft, smoky, glittery halo eye look. Now, if you haven't been on my channel before, welcome. My name is Anne. If you have been here already, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to do this, and hopefully by the end of this video, you will feel like confident enough to try it on your own eyes. So the first thing I'm gonna do is prime the eyelids. I always use the MAC Cosmetics paint pot in the color Soft Ochre. I will make sure to put all the names of the products that I use in the description bar. Then I set it with some powder just to lock everything in place, and then I will go in with my palette. The palette that I'm using is from Colourpop Cosmetics. It's actually such a beautiful palette, so I wanted to use it for today's look because it's perfect for what I was going for today. So I start off with this kind of like soft color, and I'm gonna start kind of like pressing this at the outer portion of the eyelid and then blending it in this kind of like round shape. So I'm pressing the product and then blending it towards the crease and just making these circular motions with my brush and then going upwards and upwards. I keep adding more of the color until I'm happy with how it looks, and then I switch to a tinier pencil brush, and now I'm also gonna focus on blending that same color in the inner corner of the eyelid as well. And then going upwards towards the crease, as you can see. With a halo eye look, you want to make sure that you have kind of like a dark shade at the inner corner, a dark shade at the outer corner, and then a light color in the center of the lid, which will create that halo effect. So that's why I also went in with that color in the inner corner, to really make sure that I have the same darkness at the inner part of the lid and the outer part. So now I'm going to do the same thing, but just making it darker by going in with the other shades that I showed. And again, I'm just repeating the same steps. I'm just pressing this color at the outer V, and then with whatever's left on my brush, I'm going to blend it out and make it look more soft. And then again, I will also do the same thing at the inner corner part of the eyelid. And just by switching to a tinier brush, it's just easier because, you know, the area around the inner corner is just a little bit more tinier for some reason. So if you want to work a little bit more precise, just grab like a pencil brush. So I'm focusing on making everything look well blended out. So I went in with my blending brush again, blending around the edges just to make sure that all the edges look nice and soft. You can always add a little bit more of that first color if you feel like it looks a bit harsh around the edges. So now I use the combination of the dark brown color and the black color, and I'm gonna do the same thing again. Just pressing it and making circle motions to blend it out, to gradually make it darker and darker. So first I went in with a light color, then a medium toned brown, and now I want to make it more darker by using black eyeshadow. I'm going in a few times to really build it up, but what I always do whenever I do use black eyeshadow, I always like to start with not too much of it and then just gradually build it up by going in with more and more, because you know it's black, and sometimes if you apply too much, it's harder to blend it out. So my trick is to just always start with a little bit and just apply more and more. It takes maybe a little bit more time, but on the other hand, if you apply too much and you have to fix it, it's also gonna take a lot of time. So, you know, it just works for me. So again, focusing on blending around the edges, and then again adding more of the black because I felt like it wasn't just like as smoky as I wanted it to be. So I added more of the black eyeshadow. Then now it's time for concealer. I use the MAC Cosmetics Pro Longwear Concealer on a tiny blending brush. And I'm not using too much of the concealer. You want to be a little bit more careful, because if you just use a little bit, you can just easier like make it look more soft. So I'm just blending it upwards, and then also kind of trying to spread it out a little bit around the corners of where I have applied it. Because I don't have that much product on my brush, I can just use whatever is left on it, and this will make the edges look like really soft and blended out. So of course everything I'm doing at one side, I'm also doing at the other side of my eye. And then I went in with this super light color, and I'm gonna use this right on top of where I just applied the concealer. So the concealer will just kind of like count as a base to make it lighter underneath, because you know I have used a lot of eyeshadows, and sometimes it also gets a little bit on the eyelid where you don't want it to be. So the concealer will just like make it look more clean, as if you have like another clean base for your eyeshadows. Just like you're starting with an eyeshadow primer at the beginning, you kind of do it all over again, but this time on the center of the eyelid for your eyeshadows. So I'm using that brown color around the edges to make sure that that color that I used at the center of the lid kind of fades into those darker shades which we used at the beginning. And then I also decided to go in with a little bit with this like sparkly shade and just use my finger to apply this over the eyelid. And I only used it like right in the center. Then I went in with a little bit of gel eyeliner. I didn't go for like a winged liner, just kept it simple with only going for like a line above the lash line. And then I used a black pencil for in the inner corner of the eye. This one is actually from YSL Beauty. It's their black gel pencil, I think. I'm not quite sure what the name is, but I will make sure to link it down. And then I went in with the black eyeshadow again. This time I used a Sigma Beauty flat definer brush. Sigma Beauty is actually having a sale right now. I believe it's up to 75% discount, which is so nice. And I have a special discount code for you guys, which is a affiliate code, which will give you 10% extra. So if you are thinking of buying some new brushes from Sigma or anything else from their website, now is the time, because this is a really huge sale. And also, if you don't have my eyeshadow palette, but you're thinking of getting it, my palette is also on sale, so definitely check it out. I will make sure to link it down in the description bar. So I blended out the lower lash line using that brown color and just making sure that everything looks nice and blended out. Now I'm gonna curl the lashes because it's already time for mascara. We're almost finished. And I'm gonna use this mascara, which is also from YSL. I'll put the name in the description bar. I actually really like this one. It made my lower lashes super long. I will go in with false lashes on the upper lashes, so I'm not too focused on making my upper lashes long, because the lashes will hide it anyways. But I always make sure that they are black. Then I use the style Lush from Angela Bright Lashes. I believe they're actually called Bright Lashes, but it's from Angela Bright. I'm not sure if you guys know her from YouTube, but she has her own lash company, and this is a really beautiful lash style. So I'm gonna pop these on the eyelid, and I feel like these lashes look really good in combination with today's eye look, you know? Just the right amount of fluffiness, nothing too crazy. It just suits really well. So yeah, this is the finished result. I absolutely like how it turned out. I don't do halo eye looks very often, but whenever I do, I always really like it. So I feel like I should do it more often and maybe do like some more original color combinations. I think that will be nice. Something, you know, something unexpected. So I'm gonna try that for one of my upcoming videos. But yeah, I hope you guys like it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and hopefully I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys!